Gemini's. Welcome to March 2017. Hope you guys had an amazing February. Really quickly, just wanted to touch base, let you guys know what was going on last month. If you were feeling kind of crazy, like I was for sure, definitely some low points, absolutely. So at the beginning of the month of February was the lunar eclipse along with the full moon, and that full moon and lunar eclipse was in Leo, so a lot of high, crazy, dramatic energy. And full moon coupled with the lunar eclipse is a full release. It's like a turbocharged full moon, so it's a huge release. And this release was really Leo in fashion, so very attention-seeking, very dramatic, very creative, very playful, very kind of immature, where it's like, really, like, aren't you you're a grown adult and you're acting like that? A lot of stuff like that. And then you have the new moon and the solar eclipse in Pisces. And the solar eclipse is like a turbocharged new moon. So we were bringing in whatever you were thinking on the new moon, which is the 28th, is what you're manifesting in a major, major way. So we were really pulling in a lot, and Pisces is all about the unseen world, all about compassion, giving, really anything like that. So definitely Pisces was bringing in a lot of that emotion. My low points were closer to the middle of the month, where it was like not even getting out of bed because the energy going on was so insane. And I'm just blessed that I have the type of job where I can give myself those days of rest, because I can't imagine what it was like out there. I really can't. So we made it, and now we're in March, and March has amazing energy. With the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse, we opened up this vortex. So now we have a lot more spiritually awakened people coming and realizing that they're manifesting their life, that these things that they're thinking about are coming in so easily that they'll think one thing and the next day it'll come to be, or they'll say one thing and the next minute it'll happen. So yeah, we're feeling totally intuitive, but it's really not intuition. A lot of the times it's manifestation. So keep that in mind. If you're thinking an impure or a negative thought and it's happening, it's not, oh my God, I'm psychic. It's oh my God, I manifested that. I pulled that in. So you have a huge responsibility, as we all do, to make sure that our thoughts are pure, to make sure that we're following these urges to become more spiritually enlightened. If you're feeling like you want to do yoga, if you want to meditate, if you want to do anything that is along those inner working spiritual things, please, please do it, because the universe and the world raises their vibration together. So even though you might feel like you're the only one in your family or in friends who are feeling this way, by honoring your honesty and by being true to these feelings, you're actually awakening the people around you and lifting them up. So don't allow them to pull you down. Lift yourself up and you'll lift other people around you, okay? So that's the energy that we're working with for March, is all about positive manifestations. I'm going to be putting out an ebook on how to manifest using the moon. So, like I said, releasing with the full moon and bringing in what you want with the new moon, okay? So I'm going to get started. Give this a little shuffle here. March 2017 for my Gemini friends. Gemini. Okay, feeling really good. Okay, so your situation for March 2017 for Geminis is more giving. Definitely more giving. So when I say giving, a lot of the times this goes one of two ways. Either you've been giving way too much and somebody has been, or something has been taking way too much from you. That's on you to put up the boundaries. That's on you to say, this has to stop. I've been giving way too much that I haven't been able to honor myself. You can't pour from an empty cup. So it is time to realize that maybe giving way too much has set a precedent of taking. The thing, I just saw this amazing quote. The thing with givers and takers is that a giver doesn't know when to stop giving, and a taker doesn't know when to stop taking. So recognize that if you're giving and giving and giving, especially giving to people that don't actually have any need, they're going to just continue to take and take, and they have no respect for you because there's someone that they're using you. See what I'm saying? And that might be blunt and harsh, but it's true. And it's time to start to realize that if you had those low points in February, that's because you were giving way too much time, energy, money, effort to a cause that wasn't inspiring you, that you weren't passionate about, and to a person that wasn't inspiring you, that you weren't passionate about what you were actually giving to them for, okay? So another way that this card can play out is that, like I said, you're either giving too much, or it's time for you to start giving and you've been taking too much. And you've been taking and taking from someone without them realizing it. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not going to put any judgments there, especially if that person, like I said, isn't even aware that you're taking from them. Sometimes it could just be taking energy. And you can feel when you're taking energy from someone without them giving that energy to you, because you'll feel better leaving them, but they won't feel as good, and they'll get really tired around you. They'll get really drained, not really maintaining eye contact. So just try to be more cognizant of what you're taking from people. You might be taking financially from them, but if you're not living your highest good, your highest self, and people are worrying about you constantly, you're taking from them right then and there. You're taking their attention and their worry. They're losing sleep worrying about you. So you're actually taking from them, right? So an obstacle and an aid is an overburden of responsibility. So this is one of the reasons why you're feeling like you're giving way too much. It's almost like you took on this new responsibility, and this is kind of really keeping you on your toes. It's making you really like it's pain in the back type deal. It's really more of a physical load, it feels like you're actually either taking on more work or taking on more, something physical that's taking on more, and that you're giving way too much to. But this is an obstacle and an aid. So if the issue is that you're giving too much, it's time to take on more responsibility for yourself and what you're giving to yourself. If the problem is that someone is taking too much from you, that's your aid, okay? It's time to realize that you have a lot to give and you already have too many responsibilities, that it's easy for you to tell this person or the situation, I'm sorry, but I can't give any more time, energy, money, etc. to you because I have too many responsibilities over here. And that can be your God honest truth. And if you're coming from a place of honesty, that person or situation will be better off for it, because giving energy, any type of energy, whether that's money, whether that's time, whether that's attention, giving any type of energy without pure intentions is not going to be beneficial for anyone, okay? Subconsciously, really looking at what you've built for yourself, really empowered by what you've built for yourself, and that's excellent. It's really time to take a seat and realize what you've secured for yourself. You know, that's all really in your subconscious mind right now, and it's asking you to hey Gemini, take a second to realize what you've accomplished, what security you've provided for yourself over this past year, because I'm sure it's profound. If it's coming in your subconscious mind, how much work and power you've given yourself over this last year, it's really time to take a seat back and to realize that you have a lot to be grateful for, and you've accomplished a hell of a lot in this last year. So kudos. Thinking, thought process, feeling like, you know, something from the past is going to come back to bite you. Maybe feeling like you have to give so much because of this guilt, you know, because you didn't give enough from the past. I'll be honest with you, I have a Gemini father-in-law who has been giving way too much of his energy to other people, especially his kids, because he felt like he didn't give enough in their childhood. So now he's trying to make up for it in adulthood. And that's really what is going on here with the Geminis. It's almost like, but the people that are accepting it, they've already experienced the loss from your giving in the past. So making up for it now is detrimental to both of you because it's too shallow, okay? It's time to dig deeper. If you can actually, instead of just giving to out of this sense of obligation and guilt, and give as from a sense of love and from a sense of empowerment, and giving because you have so much to give and you want to give back from a pure place, that's the only way that you're going to get your time, energy, and money's worth, okay? So give from a place of love, not from a place of guilt and obligation, okay? Something in the past, things were looking really well in the past. You know, maybe February actually was a great month for you guys, and you really started to realize how everything changes so quickly, and how even if there is slow momentum, it eventually picks back up, and vice versa. Fast momentum eventually slows back down. The world is constantly moving. Time is so fleeting, and you know, even though we're educating ourselves on this forward moment and we're bringing in newness and new beginnings, keep in mind that anything that would have come in can just as easily come out, okay? So a future card is a new form of understanding when it comes to your logic and your empowerment when it comes to how you feel about yourself, okay? So that's all newness coming in, which is excellent, which is great, which is really going to help your April, okay? Like I said, feeling guilty from the past is really changing that thought process when it comes to who you are and the future steps that you want to make and the responsibilities you have to family and friends. You right now are doing really, really well. I'm glad you guys are feeling this March madness, feeling the energy of March, feeling really well. Feeling like because you're doing so well, it's almost that obligation to give once again. You know, like I said, my father-in-law is actually doing extremely well. It's the best year he's had financially, but he's given so much more because of his financial success this year. So energy, money is an energy. No matter what, it's still a drain. You know, when you're giving that and you're not pulling anything back in from a positive place, think of it. When you're working hard, especially when it's a job that you don't necessarily love to do, you're working hard out of a sense of obligation. So when you're working hard, you're getting that money out of that sense of obligation. I'm entitled to this money because I worked for it. And then you put it back out with that same sense of obligation. The only thing that's coming back is that same obligation, the same guilt. So it's time to start bringing in from a positive place and then give that out with positivity. Don't give out the obliged money because that's exactly what you're going to get back. Give out the positive money and the positive energy that came in from a great place, and then give that, and then you'll continue to cycle that back through. And then the obliged money, the obliged, the obligation energy, that will slowly dissipate because you'll only be working from the energy of love and appreciation and giveness and generosity, not that sense of obligation, okay? Family and friends, there's an older person here. It's a water sign. If it's just family and friends who recently had a rocky past but are finally coming in to their own, keep in mind that because this card is a water sign, your family and friends, they definitely felt that solar eclipse and that new moon in Pisces because this is a water sign, and they're working through their own baggage, through their own history and through their own past. So give them a break. Give them a chance to work that through just like you are. Just because you're doing well, it doesn't mean that your family and friends are in that same mentality, in that same mental state. So cut them some slack, okay? Because that solar eclipse was a woozy. Like, that whole eclipse was a woozy. So it's time to give some compassion to our family and friends and realize that they have their own struggles. And when we put negativity on the ones who aren't like at par with us, we actually just do more damage to ourselves because it's undoing all the progress that we made. We need to appreciate every point in someone's journey because we've all been there, and we need that compassion just like someone gave compassion to us when we were in that situation, okay? Hope and fear. So you hope for some movement here. This is a Knight of Cups, so definitely another young feeling. You want that emotional newness. You want that youthfulness of forward growth. But you're scared because you're realizing that maybe that forward growth will be hard. 2017 has really brought to the forefront fear of change, because 2016, all these changes were imposed on us. Oh, this person's going to be taken out of your life. Oh, this is going to happen to you. Oh, this is that. 2017 is now our chance to say no. I decide what I want for my life, and I'm going to bring in only positivity. And, you know, 2016, I might have lost this, that, but now in 2017, I have the space in my life to bring in something positive. So 2016 was an absolute blessing in disguise. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, especially for people who lost loved ones, but recognize that our loved ones, now that they've moved on, we actually have more of a benefit because they're able to reach out to us from that spiritual world. When my grandmother passed, I'm now able to call on her with my spirit guides, and I feel closer to her than I ever did in her when she was alive, because I'm now able to connect with her on that unseen level, which is Pisces is all about the unseen world. So with that solar eclipse in Pisces, we're really starting to realize that just because like believing is seeing, not seeing is believing. Okay, so you hope that you can move forward and have some forward growth and really move forward and have some movement and really fly, but you also have a fear that that might be tricky. So recognize that fear and still go with it, okay? Fear is an absolutely amazing motivator, so just go with it. If something is scary, all the more reason to do it. That means you're on the right path. Final card, outcome. This is a really amazing card to pull. It's all about celebration. It's all about being at home with your family and friends, celebrating, whether that's a wedding, whether that's, you know, a communion. It's just really March coming in. Spring is just around the corner, and you start to feel the effects of summer coming in, and summer is all about party and getting together and just being with family and friends and being, you know, at home at gatherings. So that is your final card. Everything's looking really good at home. Just keep the thoughts positive. Never mind the past obligations. Never mind the past guilt, the past whatever. Leave it behind, especially when it comes to relationships. It's time to realize that your thoughts are exactly what is motivating these this guilt here. It's all in your head. So if it is all in your head, it's just as easy to let it go and decide. It's just as simple as that. You know, you have a thought, a memory of something, and a lot of the times you remember things that aren't even the case. It's not even how it actually happened. But sometimes it's just as easy as, you know, the one thing that I do that works really well is I'll first call Saint Michael, and I'll get a white light around me to protect me. And then I'll just take a couple of deep breaths. I'll call Saint Germain, and then I'll invoke his violet flame, and I'll throw that situation into the violet flame. And in that violet flame, it gets transmuted into positive energy. And then we start to see clearly that that past obligation or that past situation that we felt so guilty about was actually exactly what we needed to get us to this beautiful place we are here. So don't feel guilty about being happy, because if it wasn't for that past, you wouldn't be where you are now. So honor that past and realize that without it, you wouldn't be where you are. Everything changes at the drop of a dime. The world is slowly spinning. So that might have happened then, but guess what? The world kept moving and people moved on from it, so you don't need to linger. Okay, speaking of lingering, I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you have an amazing March. I really have a great feeling about March and April and the rest of the month. I really think February was the only hard one, and I'm really excited to continue reading for you guys. I'll see you in April, and love you guys. Thanks so much. Bye.